Okay, so it seems like recently there's been a little bit of a situation going on with Twitch and banning someone, which was FeFe, and essentially FeFe had a new model, I think. Oh, yeah, new model, and essentially, yeah, she said, pretty pissed and hurt by Twitch today. They suspended me because my new model is too sexy. I'm not trying to start stuff, but like I've seen bigger creators debut bunny outfits recently. I think you guys know who that is. And the Do Not Break TOS. When designing my new outfit, and my art team followed TOS to the T, so why am I getting attacked? It just feels like no matter what I do to follow the rules and do what's right, Twitch just enjoys hurting me. I'm honestly so tired of the hypocrisy and blatant lack of respect / care for streamers not in the 1%. Which again, I think is actually, fair enough. I think the way that Twitch handles a lot of their bans and a lot of the way that they do things is extremely unfair. And I think that, of course, they kind of have more kind of, biases towards certain people. Not that necessarily, those people should have a bias, whatever. Some of those people are great, right? Some of those people not so great. But I think that, there is this kind of bias towards some streamers where they get like extra, special treatment to the point where, other streamers try to try out the same thing that they're doing and end up getting banned, right? And end up getting temporarily suspended, whatever you want to call it, right? Saying your hips are covered by your tights, that should freaking count. Obviously coming from Chacha, your V-mum there, and she's just like, I don't know. Which of course, I don't know. It's very interesting because the TOS can be very random, right? Saying, I had a similar cleavage cut and hips with my first VTuber. Never knew what the issue was. I'm so sorry, FeFe. Your model looks amazing. I think it may be the thighs that they're not covered. It's super inconsistent with Twitch. I'm sorry. I got banned for wearing the same thing with tights on. I'm not even trolling. No hips allowed. Saying we just had this discussion amongst a few of us. Unfortunately, the cutout is likely what the issue was. You can only go halfway down with the apparently you're not allowed to show like the under kind of side of it, which I think is pretty interesting. It said, I noticed one thing when I was on the front page of my debut. When I was on there, they slapped me for 1 second of thigh. But when I have these themes on, I can have it on the screen for as long as I want. But they removed all ad revenue while it was on. I haven't tried swapping the tag in during the same stream, but maybe that works for silly future bits. I said, you're clearly wearing tights underneath. I've been literally staring and trying to figure out what else it could be, but there's nothing wrong with it. And obviously this comes from Captain Hannah there. Obviously Victoria too, saying, wear your tight covered hips, the gateway to sin. I'm about to give myself an aneurysm with how hard I'm eye rolling, bro. So it turns out if I stream with it again, I risk permaban. Oh well, rip my favorite model ever. So messed up. So yesterday I saw more clips of a woman with a body paint all over her blanks. And yeah, I did see that. That was pretty crazy, right? A lady didn't get banned, but I'm pretty sure that was over on Kick. So yeah, a lot of people are not happy about that whatsoever, right? And a lot of people were pretty angry that this model ended up getting her banned. And there's been some people that have been talking about it, including this person called Stevie Blunder, who does a lot of VTuber content. And essentially they tried to kind of come at it from the other angle, right? Saying, hi guys, corporate brain Stevie here. As someone who has had a very minor hand in developing and extreme knowledge of Twitch policy, something that comes up often in discussion is how important to understand that skirting the invisible line that is Twitch TOS is something that will almost always have you end up stepping on a landmine. These lines are not 100% defined for a reason, and it's so that creators do not try and approach them. However, most of these lines were very clearly defined and still stepped on, which prompted the ban. Does it suck that, that there aren't 100% clear-cut examples with what's acceptable and not with visual aids to help? Yes, and I wish in-depth glossaries existed for these types of things as nuanced as it is. And that would be good, right? Even if you could like bring up past situations of bans that you have done for this and just kind of like give an example as to, what would constitute a ban. That would be very nice, right? But they still don't do that. They say, does it suck that other streamers have gotten away with violations? Yes, and they should be reported and penalized accordingly. Does it suck that that some degree of internal bias exists for large versus medium-sized creators? Yes, and they should remove those staffers and impart those with as little bias or vested interest as possible. does it suck that I can't blank to this live for the next 24 hours? Yes, and I will be beating my blank raw the next time it pops up on stream, which is crazy. But ultimately, there were very clear lines that were crossed, and whatever due diligence was done, additional passovers and willingness to compromise with a system that will not compromise with you should be taken into account, not just for you, but for anyone looking to wrangle TOS. You know, and yeah, obviously, of course, here is I'm not going to scroll down any further, else I might get bonged. They say when evaluating for blank conduct, attire is one factor that we're using in the determination. Genitalia, buttocks, hips, female presenting. Yeah, and all of us must be covered at all times. For those areas where coverage is required, the coverage must be fully opaque. Sheer or partially see-through clothing does not constitute as coverage. So it seems like what they're saying here is that the like tights, for example, are like see-through. So of course, they wouldn't really count as coverage, which obviously a lot of people were claiming in the replies, which I can understand, right? But I still don't think it's that bad. Right, I still don't think it's that bad at all. I feel like there's much worse out there, and obviously a lot of people have been responding to this though, and he's also added a extra kind of Q&A there too. But you know, people say, aha, sure, Stevie, putting up Shylily's model that she debuted recently, which obviously is pretty crazy, and I feel like follows exactly the same kind of style almost that FeFe's one does. It does have the kind of like open bit there, right? Which a lot of people are claiming got a banned, as well as the hips and all of that kind of stuff. But apparently that doesn't get banned, right? I'm not saying that, you know, Shylily's model is bad, by the way, or anything like that. I think it's great. But I do think at the same time, you know, if one needs to get banned, the other needs to get banned. And if they both don't get banned, that would be the kind of, you know, biggest W for me, at least, I would say. But of course, as I said, I just want more consistency, right? People say, I saw the same issue, but I didn't want to be crucified for saying it. Like, just cover those areas. Why even run the risk if it's insanely small? That because I want to be hot. Which is funny. That, okay, why is this allowed? Obviously covering the Asian streamers that, you know, dance and stuff and this kind of stuff, saying, wow, that sure looks like a flagrant violation of Twitch attire policy and Twitch moderations being asleep behind the wheel. Please report the streamer using the following steps below. People saying, well, shylily still being free without getting TOS. I said, and then obviously, yeah, he responds to that saying, you can see in one of her most recent VODs that she has presented hips, although out of frame is implied, visible underbust in the center. Technically, this would be a TOS outfit, but too bad. I'm not going to report it because I'm too busy gooning, which I think is crazy, right? But, you know, obviously they do kind of say that, you know, there is a... Sorry, that's funny. But yeah, obviously there is clearly some kind of, you know, I don't know, not bias, but I want to say, like, you know, there is clearly some kind of inconsistency with how they ban things. If they're not banning like Shylily for her model, but banning FeFe for hers, I think that is pretty ridiculous, right? And again, as you know, FeFe said at the start, I'm pretty sure she was referring to, you know, Shylily and maybe some of these other people as well who've gotten similar models recently with the bunny girl kind of model. I think that, yeah, she's not trying to start drama or anything with these creators. I'm sure that she likes them, right? It's just more so the fact that, you know, they've been getting away with it. They're allowed to get away with it on Twitch, but apparently she's not. It just kind of seems a little bit unfair, right? At least allow her to do the same thing if it is allowed. Who said, guys, he's saying it's unfair and it shouldn't be, but it is. So dealing within these unfair limits is something that you got to prepare for. Streaming on Twitch means you got to eat shit and like it. So Twitch is fundamentally a flawed company, and it sucks that their policy enforcement enforcement works in the way that it does, poorly. Understanding these strengths and weaknesses is something that you have come to terms with when choosing a platform, which I think is, yeah, I think it's fair enough. Now, I don't think there is also, you know, there's one thing of saying like, hey, you know, you got to expect the TOS kind of to be a little bit funny, a little bit weird, a little bit, you know, bad, you know, if you're going to be streaming on Twitch, of course. But I do think there's also an aspect of it as well that it's just like, maybe some people want it to improve, right? I think there's also, you know, I think people should be allowed to express the fact that they want the platform to change and that they want this to be more clearer and whatever. So again, I don't think it should be all just kind of entirely, you know, ignored and just be like, oh, well, you know, you're on Twitch. Obviously, yeah, they've been looking at other people's designs as well and telling them if theirs would be okay. And obviously that seems like it'd be fine. But yeah, I saw it pretty quickly. where the you know, screw ups were. However, I do feel FeFe is valid to be pissed mainly at the lack of consistency more than anything. Her model, yeah, valid bonk. However, others VTuber models get away with skimpier, valid to be pissed. Instead, in my opinion, FeFe's primary argument is that she feels that if you're not in the top 1% of streamers, you'll be shot down more often and heavily by Twitch. Not that the content policies are overall relatively handled loosely, just like loosey-goosey across the platform. Which, yeah, I mean, I think there definitely is, you know, some kind of bias towards the top streamers within the platform. But I do also think that Twitch is just very inconsistent outside of that as well. I don't think it's entirely down to, you know, just the top 1%. I think they're just inconsistent in general, right? Because they just prefer someone over another person, right? I think it's crazy, right? And I think that obviously this should change and the rules should be different. But yeah, I think there is many different arguments. I think some people are saying that, hey, you know, maybe the model should be banned, but also at the same time, they think that the other models should be banned too, because it's inconsistent. Some people think that the model shouldn't be banned at all and think that there's way worse out there that should be banned over her. Some people think that none of them should be banned and it should all be allowed on Twitch or whatever. Again, that would be my kind of thing, but again, I know that's not going to happen. It's Twitch, right? Of course, they're going to not allow some kind of content on there, right? But yeah, I mean, that is essentially all there is for this situation. I just kind of wanted to cover it because I thought it was very, very interesting. And a lot of people have been bringing it up lately. But yeah, that's about off this video. If you guys did enjoy it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also, go to GameSubs, use my code Kazza, get 10% off. Again, they've got a ton of really cool stuff over there. Definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.